is that? You know?
Welcome to the Poker Heaven European Cash Game. We're watching high-stakes poker of the very highest caliber. Really interesting collection of players, isn't it, Gary? From the enthusiastic amateur through to the real online wizards.
200.
Yep, there's a real mix. Some top pros, mixing it up with some, well, recreational players, people who enjoy to play.
You dreamt about the winning hand,
which is always good if you're a pro. You want the recreational players as well as the pros to play against.
Dream about it yet?
It's an art not making them feel like recreational players, though, isn't it, presumably?
Yes, to some extent, that's true.
What are you going to do when you win it? Like immediately?
9.
Immediate aftermath.
Well, Sammy George is putting the pedal down in this hand. Eric Lou's raised. Christoph flat call behind him, and now Sammy makes the move on the button.
Normally I do announce.
With the 10-3.
See, now I'm very confused. If you're going to do that, can you like maybe
Well, I think
advance?
Eric's probably going to lay this one down, but I can't imagine him getting rid of Christoph.
That's big riz. We're going to accomplish with a baseball.
Do you like calling if you're Christoph, or possibly putting the pressure on?
I'm in. He grabbed 10,000 off the money.
I like that rule.
I should have known you were going to be in.
It's a difficult spot. Looks like he's decided to call.
Made him look more generous.
7, ace, 9.
Wow.
There's the card Christoph didn't want to see.
It's quite cool, actually. Like if you genuinely did it.
I thought there was only like $500.
Yeah, if you're going to re-raise to 10-3, you're going to bet this kind of flop.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I think you pretty well have to bet any kind of flop to have a chance of winning it.
2,000.
2,000.
Bundles into the crowd.
I think that bet's going to win this.
It was a pre-arranged thing, and like his friend.
Be an incredible call from Christoph here.
Cool.
Well, he's done it. Having none of it.
Precedes him, maybe.
Yeah, quite possibly.
He doesn't get great press, does he? Really?
Well, he's going to be happy. He made the call.
Check.
Straight draw now for Sammy.
He's all right.
Is he going to keep firing?
Looks like he's not going to give this one up. 6,000 euros in the middle already. Those blue chips worth 100. The white chips worth 500. The red 1,000. 4,000. Says Sammy George. Merry Christmas for Christoph Haller.
Now he's got to decide, does he want to put the pressure back on top? I think he probably wants to re-raise at this spot. But maybe he doesn't want to lose his customer.
I'm all in for 51 more.
Well, there's your answer. Now, how long does Sammy
Can
George
tell I
want to
can
wait
only
to
play
make this
poker
look
live, 'cause
respectable?
Can't even move the chips.
I think he'll wait a little bit, probably kick himself for making the bet, and then he'll throw his hand away. But this is Sammy.
All in.
Yeah, he's got himself into all sorts of trouble here, Sammy George. Sadly, they're not two aces.
No. Or 8-10.
Or 8-10.
I think he kind of wishes it was 10 queen so he could call the re-raise as well, but nope, he lays that one down, and Christoph's going to be very happy to see that jack on the turn.
Big pot. Would have been super tough for him if there's no jack on the turn and Sammy bets again.
Exactly, that's just what I'm thinking. To some extent, I think that Sammy's unlucky in that pot.
That monster pot's going to put Christoph Haller on top of our leaderboard. He jumps over Eric Lou. Almost doubled his money already. Christoph Haller still stacking chips from that monster pot.
Really? Why?
There's that old tell that if a man plays when he's stacking that many chips, it's always a big hand.
Pass.
Yeah, it's not so much a tell, more like a written rule.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bet all of it.
Jeff was saying just last night he'd take
50
you
to
back
play.
over his
Hey,
red
it stands
top.
up as well. There you go.
It's true. There he goes. He finds pocket jacks.
It's an easy game when they keep dealing you the fourth best hand in Hold'em, isn't it?
Pass. Cool.
Only if you don't keep walking into the first, second or
Once
third
again,
best
Neil.
hand.
We're in the brink. Well, I am.
Well, I am as well. I'm getting blinded out. I tell you. Between the two of us, we're in a mess.
Call on the button from Andy Black.
It's about
It's in there with the sixes.
952.
Oh, yeah,
Albert Iverson makes the re-raise with the suited connector.
No, I told everybody I won't pass.
It's the straddle.
Quickly called by Christoph.
Straddle's killing me.
And call.
And
from
Andy,
Andy.
three-way will go. And we've got another big pot, Gary.
Could be a very interesting pot as well if 3 low cards come around the 8-7-6.
5, 6,
Well.
ace.
That's a very nice flop for Andy Black.
You can get out of it, so
It's a fascinating flop, isn't it? Because obviously Albert's picked up the straight draw.
it's more fun.
It's more fun.
Exactly.
There's no point in sliding, winning.
Exactly.
The best hand before the flop.
17.25.
Suddenly he's going to look like
Never get to play very
a load of rubbish. He's not going to be able to call this. He's got another man behind him.
Pass.
Not this time.
Now, if you're Andy, you calling or raising here?
It was for me, huh?
What we got there?
I think he's probably going to raise this.
Yeah. Nobody ever wanted to know how much it is.
Hope he's up against Ace-King, gets a big pot, gets all the chips in the middle.
The guy's doing.
I think if he flat calls, there could be a lot of scare cards that could scare him and his opponent into putting a lot of chips in there, like a 4 of diamonds or something like that.
Right.
17.25, yeah.
And raise.
Well, he does
25
raise.
more.
But he's only raised 2,500.
Will Albert Iverson be tempted to do anything with this pot? Facing a €2,500 raise from Andy Black. Open-ended straight draw, Gary. Does he have any options here?
Well, not really. This isn't actually a raise of 2,500. If he decides to play this pot, it's for all his chips.
Right.
And he hasn't really got enough to push Andy Black out of this pot for another re-raise. If he's sitting there with 15,000 in front of him, and so's Andy Black, he can maybe think about a re-pop with outs if he gets called. But
I had the exact same
that
hand
that
I had
option
one
wasn't really there, so he's made the right choice and laid it down.
My defining characteristics, well, there's no saying in Buddhism that it's the only face that it's impossible to see is your own. So it's really difficult to actually say what you're like yourself. You know, maybe I'm viewed as a sort of pretty much an eccentric, you know, so I have a weird mix of contemplation and insanity, you know. Oh, I'm scared of everybody and nobody, you know. I don't know. Neil Channing's running pretty hot these days. Him and Bambus, they're pretty shrewd, yeah. They'll be waiting for me to do one of my signature blow-ups, yeah.
Gary, he's a dangerous customer in any form of poker, isn't he?
Yes, he's a very, very good poker player, Andy Black. He's had some good results at the World Series of Poker as well, including, I think it was a 5th place finish in one of the World Series of Poker main events.
One of the Alex and mine.
Buttons with Albert Iverson, who's just reloaded for another €10,000. He has that luxury in our cash game. And this is the most exciting position because this is where we get the double straddle. Neil Channing and Christoph Haller both straddling this pot, Gary.
Yes, Christoph definitely came to play. He's happy to put the 200 on there. It's quite often seen as a bit of a gambling play
All I know about you
because you're committing €200 before you even look at your hand, and that's an option for you rather than something you have to do. You have to with the blinds. So it's definitely a bit of a gamble, but it does get the action going, and it's good for your table image.
Call.
Yeah, you could say it gets the action going, but at this table, they haven't needed much stimulus, have they?
That's true. We've certainly had a little bit of action without any help.
Great to see. And looks like we'll have a multi-way pot here.
That's the
No
odds
raise.
I needed with this hand.
Because I play this hand all the time.
What I needed was 4 more callers.
Jack, King, 10.
Something for everybody.
Eastgate flops the best hand here. It's only bottom pair, but with the gut shot.
I'll be honest with you. King,
Pass.
minimum.
They're bound to put me on it.
He's putting a bet out there just to find out where he is.
To win 10.
Call.
How good is that?
Bets 500. Call from Christoph.
5.
Problem with his hand is he hasn't got much in the way of mystery.
Check.
One of his mysteries is a backdoor flush draw, and that's what he's turning right now.
15.
And he can put the pressure on with the best position as well. Peter's shown weakness. He's only got bottom pair on the flop. All he can really beat right now is a queen. But he has got a straight draw as an out. no.
Pass.
Not
Christoph
enough.
picks up another pot.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
on a
like the
roll.
bullying attitude that you have. Using my chips to bully other people. It's wrong.